This is the Investor Connect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of this show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today I'm here with Sajol Ghoshal, CEO and President of Advanced TeleSensors, Cardi. Cardi by Advanced TeleSensors is the first to market touchless cardiac sensing solution, making in-home health and wellness accessible to over 100 million people. Sajol, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Hal. It's a pleasure to meet. We had talked last year when we were working together on some of the other things where we had some pilot testing that we were doing with our touchless heart rate sensor.
That's right. That's great. So what led you to work in this space?
So, we've come a long way since we started to work together and we finished some of the pilot testing. So now we were sort of solving a lot of the challenges that we had in the business that most businesses go through. And so we're right on the cusp now of releasing this product into the consumer market this December. So what led me there is I, was involved in the sensor industry for the last 10 years, where I first started with working with non-contact optical sensing at Austria MicroSystems, and it was used to detect SpO2 and heart rate, for an iWatch and other type of wearables. But also during my tenure over there, I was the VP of Strategic Directions, and I was introduced to Advanced TeleSensors, which was a NASA Jet Propulsion Lab spin-off company. The engineers and scientists there developed a radar sensor prototype that could actually detect your heart rate and respiratory rate at a distance without you wearing any wearables. This, in my belief, was the holy grail of non-contact, non-invasive sensing, and I saw a huge opportunity of expanding vital sensing in this marketplace. So I decided to join them and bring this exciting technology to market as CEO. But one of the other things I've added is, I had a hunch about why contactless sensing would be very interesting. But we know now the market is really hungry for this touchless cardiac monitoring. Interestingly, today people have accepted that daily vital tracking is a good thing to improve their health, right? But they don't necessarily enjoy the effort of trying to attach a device to themselves day in and day out. Remember to charge the device. Remember where you left the device, and if you lost it, then you got to go find it. So invariably, these wearables end up in a drawer, and any benefits that you intended to get out of these devices are also shelved. This is especially true in the aging demographics, where we've seen less than 1% of wearable penetration. So we see a large gap in the market that amounts to over 100 million people, when non-contact vital sign sensing would be very, very useful.
Great. Well, tell us how many sellers do you have now promoting the product?
So we are a pre-revenue company, and we're expecting to turn the spigot this December, where we start shipping product, just in time for the Christmas season. In addition to selling directly from our website, we have started to line up distributors who are really leaders in the health and fitness space. Some of them are like Total Gym, Core Health and Fitness, Johnson Health Tech, and Icon Health and Fitness, just to name a few.
Well, that's great. And so how many users do you have?
So, it was very interesting because our initial users were limited to our strategic partners, most of them in the assisted living area, where we did a lot of the initial pilot testing last year. We also had engaged with a dozen or so other strategic partners who were sampling the product for integration into their systems.
So what's the core technology for the platform?
So Cardio was designed to be a totally touchless alternative to wearables, making us the first to market in this touchless vital space. We see that this easy automatic approach to well checks is really going to transform the health and wellness space in the home. So we were able to do this because we treated the human body as its own transmitter. We used a widely available automotive radar sensor and developed a product around this which had great margins for the broad consumer market. What we do is we apply cardiac signal processing algorithms to this radar signal, run it on a standard ARM processor, and then transmit the detected information through the cloud to make it accessible to a Cardio app that runs on your smartphone. So the secret sauce is really the core cardiac algorithms that pierce through this backscattering signal that is reflected from the human body to then locate the person's heart rate signal. So this gives us an advantage over ECG leads and contact type, sensors, which virtually have no tolerance to motion. And so they lose the data capture that they were working on when the movement is introduced. So we benchmarked our sensor against the gold standard, which is an ECG, and we come within 2 beats of accuracy of that, which is really very good. We've also applied for 6 patents and have been granted 3 patents. The others are in process.
Great. So what surprised you most about the in-home health and wellness sector?
So this is a really interesting question because last year would have been one answer, but this year it's quite different. What surprised me most is what we've all called the COVID-19 effect. What COVID-19 has done is accelerated the rate at which people are asking themselves, 1, am I in good health? 2, do I need to be looking at the metrics of my body on a daily basis? This phenomena has sort of blown down the gates to this touchless vital center. So consequently, people are starting to ask, what other data trends can we detect to help them in the indication of the onset of problems? And this is really a very exciting change for us.
So what's your advice for people investing in this space?
So this is good. I think, the area of investments have sort of changed through the COVID-19 space. I would advise people to investigate the growth of in-home connected health market, starting with the consumer market. COVID-19 made many people more health conscious, and as well as the ingrained idea of touchless, approaches to many aspects of their life, notwithstanding in-home touchless wellness checks that are now becoming possible. Then I would suggest that you take a look at how medical care consumption is expanding rapidly in the home. Medicare recently expanded billing codes to include remote patient monitoring.
Cool.
So that potential is in the trillions of dollars. And obviously, we think we have a great potential of claiming a slice of it, because what I think we have is a foundational platform for home healthcare stations.
Oh, great. So are you raising funding now?
Yes. We are in the process of raising funds on a convertible note to help ramp sales and production this year. So we are seeking to close a $500,000 round. We're offering our investors a 2-year term, 6% interest, and on a note cap of $10 million.
And how much of it have you raised so far, and who's in the deal so far?
So to this date, we've reached about 75% of our goal by raising $1.3 million on a $1.8 million note that we had planned to get. So we have a $500,000 left to raise. We have multiple angel investors, many of whom are on our board, folks like Kirk Laney from KLDC Partners, Jack Sage, Jacob Jacobson, just to name a few.
Great. Well, in the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
Well, happy to talk with anyone who would like more information about Advanced TeleSensors on cardio. You can always email me at sghoshal@cardio.io. Or you can call my cell phone, area code 916-221-0151. And I'd be happy to provide more information so that they can ride this in-home health revolution wave with us.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today and hope to have you back for a follow-up soon.
Thanks, all. I really appreciate the time with you.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Alti Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early-stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for the basis of investment decisions.